Go ahead and do the following. Let's parse the content log using NiFi. So what I'll do, I'll grab on the canvas a processor called tail file. You know, Linux, there is a Linux command that does the same with the same name. Pretty much tails the content of a file. And then we're going to link it to a processor called split text. So going inside tail file, this one has multiple properties, but what we're going to touch right now, it's files to tail. So this one has the ability to tail one or multiple files. So we're just going to stick with single, and we're going to tail this particular file. So in our case, we have to give it the full path. So it's opt NiFi and then logs. Cool. And the rest stays the same. Now we're going to connect them on a success relationship, and I'll start this processor. So you can see we're already getting data in. Looking at this data, if we're going to look into it, you're going to see it's sort of a blob of data, multiple lines. Yeah, it's really hard to parse and understand and read. But what we want to do now, we want to split this data line by line. So we're going to tell them, hey, split it by line. Split counts equals to 1. So each line it's going to give us a new flow file. After we do this one, it will give us multiple lines, and we want to extract some information from it, and we want to route each line with a status to a particular route. So for this one, we're going to drag a processor on canvas called route on content. So after the split, we're going to create the success connection on splits. The other two connections, we're going to relationships, not connections. We're going to terminate them. So just get rid of the original, and if any failures, get rid of them as well. Now, if we start this one, see we get much higher number of lines. So this is good. Looking inside, we can see that we have 1 per line. So that's nice. Cool. Now, up to the next step. On the route attribute, I want to create 4 more properties. Each property will relate to a type a type of logging. So what we're going to do here, we're going to click content must contain match. Must not be exactly. If we put exactly, we have to match exactly what's in a row. So what we're going to do here, we're going to add a property name called error with a value of error. And then we're going to get info. Typo. The value of info. What am I doing, buddy? And then we're going to add debug. Sorry about it. Fat fingers. With a value of debug. And finally, we got error, info, debug, and warn. So these are the main. Am I missing something? Or none? None, we're not going to look into it. So the way you can find out the levels of errors, you can go here and the bulletin levels will show up here. You got warn, info, warn, and none. Yeah, none. We're not going to choose none. Now that we have this will give us, you see, multiple output connections based on our routing. So we're going to add a dummy log attribute. Log attribute. Is it? No. Log attribute processor. I'm going to attach to it. And then we're going to route the ones we don't really want to demonstrate right now. Debug, info, and warn. Keep in mind, I could have bundled them all into one, just saying, oh, just go to this one. But for the purpose of this demo, I don't want to do that. I want to demonstrate and see how each type of error gets sent or notification gets sent to its route. And here you see we still have a validation error because we still have two connections, output connection, error and unmatch. We're going to jump into it and we're going to terminate the unmatch. And in case of an error, we're going to have to link it to a downstream component as well. So for this one, we're going to add a Grok extract. And everything that comes with an error, I want this to be parsed using this Grok definition or this processor. We're going to add this Grok definition here. So I have it ready on my notes. Not a Grok expert, so I wouldn't be able to write this by head. Put this in the description of the link. As a matter of fact, I'll put the template of the NiFi demo in the link so you guys can go and download it and play with it as you wish. And here, we're just going to leave it as it is. We're going to tell them, okay, whatever you parse out, I want you to split it into the destination as flow file attribute. So we're now going to put it back into the payload. Cool. Now that we have this, let's start the route on content. So right now we don't have any errors. We just have a debug warn. Actually, let me just stop this one. So actually we can separate it. So we have info, debug. Again, obviously this is warn here only. So because we selected two. Sorry, my bad. Warn actually only. And let's let some other messages flow in. So for now, we don't have any error. So kind of breaks our legs. We want to demonstrate how an error is caught up. So we can go over the attributes. So let's generate an error. We're going to say generate flow file. And then we're going to add a JSON split. Or a split JSON. I'm going to feed this one an empty payload and ask him to split it. And will automatically give me a fail. So that's how I'll trigger a failure. I'm going to terminate the outputs of this. Make this one run once. Oh, he run in multiple dice, not just one. Let me empty this queue really quick. Sorry guys, I'm running with it. And run once. All right, so a single flow file. And then let's start this JSON. We get an error here automatically. We already got an error in our flow as the outcome of that route on error. Let's dissect this flow file and its content. We look at this flow file. You can see it comes with a series of new attributes that are prefixed with Grok. So everything that the Grok expression will extract, we will have them here. Like where they are? No attributes. Oh, sorry. There's no extracted attributes because we haven't passed it through. So that's my mistake. Now, because I have to add new downstream processors in order for the previous processor to do the work. Otherwise, we still get this relationship matched. It's invalid. So what I'll do here, just to put a cherry on a cake, I'll add a Slack notification here. So we're going to say put Slack. Cool. Here, we're going to link it on a matched relation. Cool. Jumping inside, we're going to say unmatched, terminate. And now we're going to run this. And now we're going to get the Grok one, the Grok prefix attributes. Looking inside the attributes, we can see that, yep, indeed, we get Grok prefix attributes. You see, we get some information such as the class, the error, the message. We can even go deeper into this and extract more information about it, like the processor ID and the separate error. It's clear it did not have a valid JSON content, so that's why it fails. And the thread and the timestamp of it run. So for now, we have everything kind of need. Now, to make this even smarter, I want to integrate this with Slack. So what I did, I already went and I have a Slack channel for my demos. I have a webhook URL here that I populate. The webhook text that we're gonna give it to it. So we're gonna construct a text, let's say a Slack text using the incoming Grok attributes extracted. So we have pretty much high. An error occurred this time, run by this service with this message. And next thing we want to add the channel. So if I'll open my Slack channel here, so this is going to come into this demo logging, right? All right, so let's save this, apply. And there are some validation issues here because obviously the Slack has a downstream connection as well. So let's terminate this one. So now let's add this and start. Going back to our Slack, we can see that here is an error saying, hey, at this time, this particular service, we can do a better job with formatting the message so it can be more meaningful. But for now, I think this is sufficient. The error message is the following. Cool. So that kind of wraps up our demo of how we can, let me just actually save this. How we can extract logs from NiFi using NiFi itself and create some intelligence behind it. You know, integrate with systems, putting it into the database, getting understanding of how our flow operates instead of us just being, by chasing this red buttons here, or I don't know, scrolling to the bulletins to see what it is. It's not, you want to integrate it with your tooling that you have as a data engineer. Cool. So just to review what we did in this tutorial, we went over the options that we have with logins. We saw how we can change the logs. How can we revert it back? We understand now that there's not a requirement of us restarting the NiFi instance when we do so. So that will automatically be applied. Now we understand what NiFi Bootstrap logs into, the NiFi user log and what is it serving, what it serves for, and the most important one, the NiFi application logs. We saw how we can easily use Grok processor to extract data and put it into a semi-normalized form. And at the end of the cherry on the cake, we added a Slack integration. If you guys enjoy this content, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It makes me feel good and also helps the channel to grow. And I'll try my best to bring new content and keep you guys more entertained. Until next time.